Morning. You're looking at the International Space Station Flight Control Room. A team of flight controllers watching over all of the station systems and especially the preparation for the final berthing of a newly arrived commercial cargo vehicle, the orbital ATK Cygnus spacecraft, nicknamed the Deke Slayton II, for former astronaut Deke Slayton, Apollo-era astronaut, one of the first 7 astronauts in the history of NASA. Arrived at the station just a short while ago, all of that happening overnight. The actual arrival at the station with capture occurred at 5:19 this morning, Central Time, 6:19 Eastern Time. All of these activities went very smoothly, and during the last hour and a half or so, the robotics team here in Mission Control Houston has repositioned the cargo vehicle now on the end of the station's robotic arm, the Space Station Remote Manipulator System, known as Canadarm2. That is now in position, what's known as the pre-install position, over the space station's berthing port on the Unity module, the Earth-facing berthing port, and the final alignment has been completed, and the next sequence of events will be for astronaut Kjell Lindgren on board the station to assist from that vantage point with the common berthing mechanism activities for the full install. There's 2 stages of the installation that occurs after the final positioning of the cargo vehicle, which includes seeing data showing 4 ready-to-latch indicators. At that point, the bolting sequence can begin. Again, there's 2 stages to that bolting sequence, and the actual berthing complete is not considered finished until that second stage capture is completed. The Cygnus spacecraft was launched on Sunday from the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station Space Launch Complex 41 late in the afternoon, and the 2-day rendezvous ended with the arrival at the International Space Station and the safe capture on the end of that robot arm a little bit earlier this morning, with all activities going very smoothly, with Kjell Lindgren operating the station's robot arm from inside the cupola module on the station where the robotic workstation is located. He was assisted by Station Commander Scott Kelly, and basically making sure that all of the data and parameters were correct, staying in fairly close contact with Mission Control here in Houston, with data being relayed through the control center here, as well as the orbital ATK control center that's located in Virginia, just outside Washington, D.C. in the Dulles Airport area. The choreography went very smoothly between the teams and obviously the crew on board. And now Cygnus is in the grasp of the station's robot arm, with 7,000 pounds of cargo being delivered to the station. It's the 4th cargo delivery flight to the station as part of NASA's Commercial Resupply Services contract. And it's the first flight of this enhanced Cygnus spacecraft, which features a larger payload capacity. This Cygnus has a length of about 15.5 feet compared to the previous Cygnus cargo vehicle that was a little more than 11 feet. This also has a new pair of solar arrays, a different pair of solar arrays known as Ultraflex solar arrays. New fuel tanks. I mentioned the extended pressurized cargo module, which increases the volume capacity for payload by about 25%. The interior volume uses cargo nets instead of hard structure for stowage of payloads, so it actually can carry more payload because of that as well. As mentioned, after we went off the air for that brief period of time, the robotics team here in Mission Control, while the crew was able to take a break and perform some of its routine daily exercise, the robotics team actually controls the relocation of Cygnus from the capture point that if you were tuning in, so you saw that earlier, and then repositioned it. This is a little bit running a little faster, obviously, than normal to show you the arm movements as they occurred while we were off the air. But the Cygnus was repositioned to the what's known as the pre-install point, and at that point, the crew would then get back involved, regroup, and assist with the actual bolting of the Cygnus, securing it to the station's Unity module, the Earth-facing docking or berthing port on that Unity module. Cygnus, the arrival of the Cygnus spacecraft kicks off a busy December in terms of highway traffic around this space station. The Cygnus is the first vehicle this month to arrive or depart from the station. That'll be followed on Friday by the return home of 3 crew members, including Kjell Lindgren, after 141 days in space. He, along with Kamiya Yui and Russian cosmonaut Oleg Kononenko, they will return home after that 141 days in space. They launched to the station back in July. After they return home, that'll set the stage for the arrival of three new crew members that will then join what will become the Expedition 46 crew. Scott Kelly, Mikhail Kornienko, and Sergei Volkov remain behind and will welcome the 3 newest crew members next week with their launch targeted for Tuesday. Yuri Malenchenko, Tim Kopra, and Tim Peak actually are already at the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan preparing for launch aboard their Soyuz TMA-19M spacecraft. That launch is targeted for 5:03 a.m. Central Time on Tuesday, 6:03 in the morning Eastern Time. And they'll arrive at the station about a little less than 6 hours later, about 4 orbits or so from the time of launch to docking. And then they plan to open the hatches in the early afternoon, being greeted, welcomed aboard the station for their long-duration stay that will end next June of 2016.
Checking.
A Russian cargo vehicle then is set to depart the station on Saturday, December 19th, freeing up a docking port for a new Russian cargo vehicle, the 62 Progress vehicle, launching on Monday, December 21st on a 2-day rendezvous that arrives on Wednesday, December 23rd. So that's the visiting vehicle plan for the month of December, so it's going to be quite busy around the station's highways for the rest of this month. But the focus of attention right now is on this brand new commercial cargo vehicle delivering more than 7,000 pounds of cargo, supplies, experiments to the International Space Station, with the berthing activities getting underway to secure it to that berthing port, the Earth-facing port on the Unity module of the International Space Station.
Those are both have the triangle, yellow triangle exclamation point sign on the Node 1 Nader CBM page. Yes, and I see that on my display also here on the ground. Specialists are looking at it. You bet.
Hey, for Chell on 2, so those exclamation marks you see, because these are actually false indications. There's some bad bits on the I/O cards. No worries, this was expected.
Okay, copy, thank you.
As you can see from this view, the station is on the dark side of the Earth, flying high above southern Russia, just about to swing across the northern tip of Japan as it heads out across the Pacific Ocean. 30 minutes from the next planned orbital sunrise. That will occur out over the central Pacific.
And David, just a question with regards to Table 1. I don't see the specific items called out in Table 1 on the functional CBM representation external view. My understanding is if I had one of these exclamation point signs next to any of these controllers, that I would then dive into the controller with the button and it would help me fill out this table. Is that correct?
Yep, that's a good interpretation. So right now there's no anomalies, so that table will remain blank.
Concur, thanks.
While the
Step 3, or go for maneuver to ready to latch position.
Copy, thank you.
So with that call, the robotics team here in Mission Control, or Robo Officer, preparing to reposition for the what's known as the ready to latch position.
We're done with it, thanks. Thanks for asking.
In parallel here in Mission Control, a second team of flight controllers is on duty in the process of starting a handover. The shift changes here in Mission Control occur every 9 hours roughly, and that second team will talk amongst themselves on an alternate loop and bring that team up to speed on all of the activities that have been going on for the last couple of shifts. Obviously the focus on the arrival of the Cygnus cargo vehicle, and once the berthing activities are completed, that team will take over watchful eye over the station, the crew, for the rest of the crew's workday before the 6 astronauts and cosmonauts head to bed about 4:30 in the afternoon. And there you see inside the U.S. laboratory Destiny, Kjell Lindgren, 2 days from returning home after spending 141 days aboard the station. He's the crew member in charge of the bolting activities to secure Cygnus to this berthing port that looks down at the Earth on the Unity module of the station. The hatch on the inside of the cargo vehicle is not scheduled to be opened until tomorrow. All of the, in parallel with all of the preparatory return activities that are ongoing as well, the plan will be for Scott Kelly to open the hatch between the Cygnus and the station so that cargo unloading operations can commence. Scheduled for that right now on the timeline. It's showing about 4 o'clock in the morning Central Time Thursday for that hatch to be opened. This is a view that helps with the not only with the robotics team but with Kjell Lindgren on board. It looks right down the center line of the common berthing mechanism. This will, what they're doing right now is basically very deliberately and methodically aligning the spacecraft, the Cygnus cargo vehicle, with the common berthing mechanism to until they get there's 4 latches. They'll get what's known as RTL. That stands for ready to latch indicators, and once they have those ready to latch indicators all in place, that is the signal to Kjell Lindgren that he can begin the actual bolt loading. It's a very deliberate sequence with the common berthing mechanism for all visiting vehicles on the U.S. segment of the station. When the new commercial crew vehicles begin flying in the next couple of years to the station, they will be arriving and berthing, docking to new international docking adapters. Those will be launched to the station a little later. There'll be 2 of those on board the station, and some of the work that was done much earlier this year began the preparatory work for the arrival of those docking adapters. One of those was lost in the recent SpaceX Dragon vehicle lost during its launch phase. Of course, there was a Cygnus cargo vehicle that was launched shortly after liftoff atop an Antares rocket. But in any case, there's some spare parts that were remaining, so a 3rd international docking adapter is already being assembled. But in any case, there will be 2 new docking adapters eventually at the station to support the arrival and departure points for the new commercial crew program vehicles that are being designed, built by Boeing, the CST-100 Starliner and the SpaceX Crew Dragon. Those will be launching from Cape Canaveral and the Kennedy Space Center, and arriving and departing from the station at those new berthing ports. One of the modules on the station, the permanent multi-purpose module, was relocated back in May from the point where you see it as a green vehicle to the location where it is now, the blue. Or vice versa, that freed up the port where the PMM originally was, and that's where the Cygnus vehicle is now being berthed. And this is a good graphic of once it is berthed and the robot arm releases the grapple pin. This would be the current configuration with that Soyuz 43, the TMA-17M spacecraft scheduled to depart on Friday, and freeing up that port as well for the arrival of the next Soyuz vehicle. This is Mission Control Houston. They're continuing with the proper alignment. Once the alignment is in place, they'll get the 4 ready-to-latch indicators. That will signal the ability to start the bolting process. There are 2 stages to the bolting process, and all of that will be, they're electrically driven bolts, and that is commanded via a laptop computer on board the station that Kjell Lindgren will be in charge of. And once we get the second stage capture confirmation, that will signal the official berthing of Cygnus to the International Space Station's Unity module. The rest of the day for the crew members on board will be to begin the configuration of the inner hatch, the station side of that interface, and also the vestibule, which is the very small volume between the hatch of the station and the hatch of the Cygnus spacecraft. All of that the crew plans to get completed along with the leak checks before they go to bed this afternoon. Right now the crew's sleep shift shows them heading to bed a little bit later than usual today. They're actually sleep shifting quite a bit to align themselves with the departure time of 3 of the crew members that plan to leave on Friday. The undocking, the hatch closing of the Soyuz TMA-17M spacecraft is scheduled around 12:25 in the morning Friday Central Time. So that's means an earlier start to the crew's day to prepare for that crew departure, 3 crew member departure. And then the undocking is scheduled to occur a little bit before 4 o'clock in the morning Friday. And once that undocking command is initiated, that will actually officially be the demarcation point of the end of Expedition 45 and the beginning of Expedition 46. That leaves behind Scott Kelly, Mikhail Kornienko, and Sergei Volkov, and they will serve for a very short time as a 3-person crew as Expedition 46 until next Tuesday afternoon, when the next 3 crew members arrive, as we discussed a little while ago. So in any case, the plan will be to basically get all the way to the hatch opening activities for Cygnus today, and then be prepared to open that hatch tomorrow morning in the wee hours at around 4 o'clock. And Judd Freeling handing over control of the team here in Mission Control to his colleague Chris Edelin, who will watch over the final bolting procedures, securing Cygnus to the berthing port on the Unity module. Freeling is the lead, been the lead flight director for this Cygnus mission to the International Space Station, and so all of the work that he and his team put forth in concert with the team from Orbital ATK has come to fruition with the arrival of Cygnus. The last steps are underway, obviously, to formally and completely secure Cygnus to the space station. Here's a view inside the station looking through the U.S. laboratory Destiny toward Unity. Unity is the module to which Cygnus is currently being berthed. As you can see, Shel Lindgren and Scott Kelly, as they prepare to perform the bolt loading procedure, so they can look up through the port, and which is actually looking down at the Earth, and they can see the alignment that's underway to precisely align the cargo vehicle with that berthing port. And robotics officer reports to flight director that he is pressing in now to begin the procedure to secure Cygnus and get the ready to latch indicators that are mentioned earlier. There are 4 of those that once they see a clean signal that they have 4 ready to latch indicators, that will signal the crew to start the bolt loading process. And meanwhile, the station is moving into a orbital sunrise. Obviously, you can see that the station headed into that sunrise as it heads across the South Pacific. station is tracking the southern Pacific, headed toward the southern tip of Chile, once again having just moved into an orbital sunrise. And the robotics team continuing the very intricate and fine alignment of the Cygnus spacecraft with the common berthing mechanism to, once that precise alignment is completed, they will report to the flight director, Chris Edelin, and his team that they see 4 ready to latch indicators. Once that is completed, then they will give the go to the crew, particularly Kjell Lindgren aboard the station, to proceed with the bolt loading procedure, securing, bolting the Cygnus spacecraft to the common berthing mechanism on the station side of the interface at the Unity module's Earth-facing berthing port. The shift change here in the control center is complete. Chris Edelin is the flight director now on duty. He's joined by Mike Jensen, who is serving as the serving as the communications link between this team and the crew aboard the station.
Station Houston on 2 for Scott. Your PMC standing by on 4.
Okay, thanks. Let's go on 2 for port collection.
Go on 2.
And I'm still working on this blood collection activity and our preparation, specifically trying to get these tubes in the order that they will be collected. And I'm looking at Scott's timeline on Friday morning, and I don't see anything in his activity that shows which tubes are being used and in which order they would be collected. Can you, I may not be looking in the right place, if you could help me.
And Chell, this is Huntsville with you on 2. I just wanted to let you know we copied your question, and give us a few minutes. We'll be right back with you.
Thanks.
And Chell, Hunts was with you back on 2 for HRF.
And that's on with you on 2.
And Chell, if you get your eyes on the timeline for GMT 344, Scott has an activity scheduled on his timeline at GMT 2310, and that's going to be procedure 2.002, Twin Studies Ambient Blood Collection and Processing. Down in step 2.8, you're going to see table 1. There's going to be a reference data file that you can open up, and that should give you the order of the tubes.
Okay, copy, thanks. Okay, I'm in procedure 2.002, twin study ambient blood collection and processing. And in 2.8,
and that's affirmative. And within 2.8, within table 1, you should see a reference data file which will help you with the order of those tubes.
This is Mission Control Houston to provide you an update while Kjell Lindgren is waiting for the robotics team to complete its tasks. He's looking ahead at some of the science, human research experiment activities associated with actually on Scott Kelly's timeline for day after tomorrow. We expect the actual bolting procedure to begin here about 5 minutes after the hour. Once the robotics team gets the proper alignment of the common berthing mechanism with the Cygnus spacecraft's docking system as well, berthing system. You see there should be 4 ready to latch indicators once it's aligned properly, and then at that point the bolting procedure can begin. And again, that's should be ready to commence with that in the next 3 to 4 minutes. Among the cargo, the complement of cargo and supplies that this Cygnus spacecraft is delivering to the space station includes a new life sciences facility known as the Space Automated Bioproduct Lab. It's actually designed to support a wide variety of fundamental, applied, and commercial space life sciences research. It actually will support research on microorganisms such as bacteria, yeast, algae, and fungi, and also viruses. It also is designed to study animal cells, tissues, and small plants and animal organisms.
We're actually seeing 10 tubes listed. If you're not seeing that, we can go ahead and just give you that order right now.
I'm so sorry, did you call?
Yes, I just called, and just to make sure we're on the same page, when we're clicking the 43S descent reference data file here on the ground, we're seeing 10 tubes listed within that document. However, if you're not seeing that on board, I'd be happy to give you the order of those tubes at this time.
Okay, I'm ready to copy.
Okay, your first 3 tubes of the day are going to be yellow tubes. 4 and 5 will be blue. 6 through 8 will be green. And 9 and 10 will be purple.
And it doesn't matter within those color groups, the order.
And Shell, stand by, checking. And Shell, there's going to be no particular order required as long as you stay within the labeled categories with the color.
Copy, thank you. Houston on 2 for node 1 CBM.
Go ahead.
And are you ready for me to start this procedure?
And Shell, we're still 3 of 4 RTLs, so we're negative on picking up the procedure. We're attempting to tweak the positioning a little bit to get us a good 4 RTLs. We'll have a call here hopefully for you momentarily.
Okay, copy. Thank you, and welcome to the Orbit 2 group, and thanks to Orbit 1 for terrific support this morning.
So you just heard that update provided to Kjell Lindgren. He's standing by to begin the bolt loading procedures, the first and second stage capture procedures. Once the 4 ready to latch indicators are seen, as you just heard, we see 3 ready to latch indicators. We don't see the 4th right now, so they're tweaking the alignment to make sure that it is precisely aligned before that electrically driven bolt loading procedure begins. So Kjell Lindgren, along with 2 other of his crewmates, Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency astronaut Kimiya Yui and Russian cosmonaut Oleg Kononenko, are in their last couple of days aboard this station. They launched to the complex back in July, precisely on July 22nd of this year. And they are in the final days of their stay aboard the station. They're returning home on Friday morning. They currently are targeted to land on the steppe of Kazakhstan at 7:12 a.m. Central Time, 8:12 in the morning Eastern Time, after a night of preparations, hatch closure, undocking, and then, of course, the deorbit burn and landing activities. All of that is scheduled for Friday. Some of the volume inside their Soyuz spacecraft in which they return also has room for some of the experiments, samples that have been conducted on board. So there's some packing activities that have already been ongoing, and they'll work on that additionally for the rest of today, and of course all day tomorrow. The crew, all 6 crew members, are sleep shifting, so their day today will actually end with them going to bed about 9:30 tonight Central Time, so that will allow them to sleep shift to prepare for that Soyuz departure. Once they undock, the other 3 crew members that are remaining on board, Scott Kelly, Mikhail Kornienko, and Sergei Volkov, transition to Expedition 46, and they won't be a 3-person crew for very long. The next 3 crew members already at the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, preparing for their return home. Tim Peake, Great Britain astronaut, as part of the European Space Agency complement of astronauts, looking forward to his first flight into space. He actually will be the 221st individual to arrive at the International Space Station. Yuri Malenchenko, in contrast, is going to be making his 6th space flight. He served on several expeditions. He even flew on the Russian space station Mir as his first flight. Tim Kopra, the U.S. astronaut, will be making his 2nd flight, and his 2nd as an expedition crew member. He was on Expedition 20. So that's the complement of 3 crew members that will join what will then be Expedition 46 to augment that crew back to 6 crew members.
Station Houston on 2 for Shell.
Going 2.
Yes, sir. So it's we're having a little bit of alignment issue with getting Deke with 4 good RTLs. Robo is pretty convinced they know what the alignment challenge is, and so they're going to be doing some small maneuvers with the arm to try and, in my head, it's basically tilting the can towards the missing RTL to try and to engage it. It's going to be probably 10 minutes or so before we would be able to see a 4th RTL. So if you want to jump ahead to some of your crew departure stuff, you've got at least 10 minutes here.
That sounds great. Thanks for the heads up.
So that update essentially, as you heard, just allowing the robotics team to continue the alignment of the common berthing mechanism of the Cygnus spacecraft with the common berthing mechanism to tilt it slightly. So they'll just be working and tweaking this alignment until they get their alignment mechanism signals, which are ready to latch indicators.
Station Houston on 2 for Shell with 4 green RTLs.
Copy 4 green RTLs. Nice work, Robo.
That's a good copy, and with that, I can give you a go for procedure 1.502, Node 1 Nader CBM capture A bolts. Also, as a heads up, step 3, you need to verify all exercise on board is halted, but I can verify for you the MCC step. We are in stable attitude control. Russian thrusters are disabled.
Okay, copy. I am go for 1.502, Node 1 Nader CBM capture A bolts, and I will confirm that there's no exercise at this time.
Good copy.
So that call indicating there's 4 ready to latch indicators. Shell Lindgren just going to confirm that there's no exercise going on board. All of the thrusters are disabled so that it's a very quiet environment on board for the bolt loading procedure that he will begin shortly. It's a 2-stage procedure, the second of which, once completed, will signal the official time that Cygnus is berthed to the International Space Station's port on the Unity module, the Earth-facing port that you see the module almost berthed to right now. That will be its home for at least a month as it is unloaded and then reloaded with unneeded items aboard the station before it departs.
on 2, you are go for SSRMS mode to limp.
Copy. In work SSRMS mode to limp.
So the call that you just heard a moment ago giving a go to essentially remove all of the tension from the station's robot arm. That's in preparation for the actual boat loading procedure. Again, a two-stage process to securely and attach the Cygnus cargo vehicle to the International Space Station. The
Station Houston on 2 for Shell. SSRMS mode to limp is complete. You are go for second stage capture, following with you in step 5.
correction, to continue with the boat loading procedure for stage 2 captures. Stage 2 will be the official demarcation of the time that the Cygnus berthing will be completed.
Absolute station space ground 2 for neural mapping.
And Kimia, Huntsville's with you on 2.
Yes, this morning I completed aeronaut exercise at 10:10, so 4 hours restriction is already passed, so I'd like to start neural mapping from now.
And Kimia, I'm checking.
Okay. Yeah, if I need to wait, that's no problem, actually. And please let me know if you need some like camera view, Columbus camera view, that way I can set it up.
Okay, and copy and checking both.
Thank you.
And Kimia, Huntsville back with you on 2. You're a go to start with your neuromapping activity as long as you're 4 hours out from completing your ARED exercise, and we will not be requiring a camera view in Columbus today.
Understand, thank you. So I'm going to start from now. Thank you.
This is Mission Control Houston. We have confirmation of second stage capture, 8:26 a.m. Central Time, as the International Space Station flies 252 statute miles above Niger, Central Africa, as it heads northeasterly across the continent, approaching the Mediterranean Sea, and an orbital sunset in about 12 minutes. The Cygnus now has arrived at the station. We'd like to welcome back to the Space Station Orbital ATK and Cygnus, as it is firmly berthed now to the nadir port, the Earth-facing port of the Unity module, having launched this past Sunday afternoon, captured at 5:19 this morning Central Time, 6:18 a.m. Eastern Time, and now berthed officially at 8:26 a.m. The crew will spend the rest of the day working on the inner hatch, the station side of the interface between the complex and the Cygnus cargo vehicle. They'll equalize the pressure to ensure that there are no leaks between the two spacecraft. They'll conduct extensive leak checks. They'll prepare the vestibule, which is the small volume of space between the hatch of the station and the hatch of the Cygnus spacecraft. And